Também, na ponte.
Thank you very much for that. Um, I know you will have to strain your ears because, as you notice, we do not have a mic tonight, but we are here, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our annual activity sponsored by the Force Vargas Movement, SAGE, and Tukantu. This is the cultural event which will entail the pouring of the libation in front of uh, the monument. So I would like, and I'm glad that you are able to spend this time with us to celebrate the emancipation celebrations. So without further ado, I would like for us to sing the Buxton battle song. Some of us, or most of us, will know it. So we'll ask you to. Well, most of us are standing, so I will invite the chief to come and lead us in singing the Buxton battle song. Thank you.
Anyway,
Okay, I don't need to say to anybody to stand because most of us are standing. You know that when we're doing the battle song, you will stand, right? All right, come, doctor. Come. Now will not power in the dust.
Glorious name shall never
rise. Oh, Buxton, my own native land. Remember past days, yes we must. The Buxton soul and ship its dust. And now we slumbers in the dust. In Buxton, my own native land. And now may every girl and boy in Buxton, my own native land. Start and brave all day and boy for Buxton, my own native land. To add to our illustrious line of sons and daughters who are kind to give up their best and we may shine for Buxton, my own native land. To add to our illustrious line of sons and daughters who are kind to give up their best and we may shine for Buxton, my own native land.
Thank you very much, Sister Eva. I am the moderator for tonight. My name is David Jones. I'm the chairman of the First of August movement. And having said that, we will continue in our program. We will ask Brother David Hines, Brother Emoya. Libation. Okay, Brother Lemboy will do the libation for us. So we'll ask him to proceed. Right after which we'll have Dr. Hines saying a few words.
I'm Jambo. I always make moments like this a teachable moment. The reason is, for all throughout the centuries and centuries, throughout our whole lifetime, we have been misled, misguided, maltreated, mistreated in every way. We have been deculturized, and it has left us like sheep without a shepherd. All we do is hang on to the bits and pieces that we hear or we learn from our school days, and that is all we have to go with. Let us try to rewrite that history now and make it correct. Brothers and sisters, we are here tonight because it is the eve of what is known as emancipation. Emancipation was when the slaves were told that they were no longer slaves and that tomorrow will be the day when they can walk off the plantation to do whatever they want to do. That's what emancipation is about. So the slaves, in their own way, decided, well, look, this is time for celebration. This is freedom. No longer do they have to sit down now and lick massa ass and watch massa behind and got to do thing for massa. This is time now when we would harness our energies and our strength to do for us what slavery had destroyed, and that is to pick ourselves up and become independent men and women. That's what Africans, those ex-slaves did. And one of the first things those Africans did after they were emancipated was to decide, well, here, me no want nothing for more to do with Massa. Massa, they done. Therefore, I will want our independence. And you know what they did? They pooled their resources together and bought Buxton. I didn't hear me. So here we're gonna, before I continue with that history, when African people come together like this, one of the first things they do is offer libation. Why do they do that? Answer me. Somebody answer me. Why do we pour libation? Correct. Quite correct. We invite the spirits of our ancestors to be with us. There's a reason for that. Africans know that those who are dead and gone, our ancestors who have transitioned before us, are responsible for us being here today. And we who are here today determine the generation to come. Will determine the generation to come. And people just like manners. Good. Somebody got to stand a soldier. Somebody got a soldier there and he told them people this way. All right, good. Yes. So let me pick up where I left off. So as these when African people come together like this, they invite the spirits of the ancestors to be with them. And that is very, very important. That is why most of you have the habit, when you break the seal for the liquor waiters do, you pay some tools. And when you offer that libation, you call the name of your good friend that passed on yesterday, and your grandmother and your auntie and them that gone before you. And you're inviting their spirits to be with you to do partake in whatever you're partaking in. As I offer this libation to the ground today, we are inviting the spirits of our ancestors to be with us, and we're asking them to guide us in this ceremony so that it's peaceful, loving, and without bloodshed. As I offer this libation, I speak Swahili. Now, when I say Hamjambo, your reply should be Atu Jambo. Atu Jambo is because it's a collective greeting, response. It's a collective response. Hamjambo means I'm addressing a crowd, right? If I'm addressing a single individual, like David, I said Jambo means, and he says Si Jambo. But if I'm addressing a crowd like this, I say Hamjambo. And your reply must be Atu Jambo. Now, Hamjambo. Now you get it right. Hamjambo. Correct. Good. Now, if you want to greet one another, you say Jambo and Dugu, and it says in reply, Si Jambo. That's how it is. Singular and plural. Good. Here we go. Again, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier today. Tafadali means please. And I want you little folks to remember these words, because the English custom, they're beating us down so badly. They left us with no language. They left us with no history of our ancestors. And they left us like sheep without shepherd. So it's important that when you come upon these little bits and pieces of African history and culture, you hold on to it. Tafadali means please. Semama means stand up. Kitako means to sit down. Tafadali semama means please stand up. Tafadali kakitako means please sit down. Okay? And then at the end, I say asante sana, means thank you very much. When I say asante sana, means thank you very much. Ndugu, when you're addressing a brother or a sister, say Ndugu, Ndugu David, Ndugu Siwelto, Ndugu Sisiko. Great. So as I offer this libation to the ground, I'm going to speak Swahili and be proud of it, because anytime you go to other people's culture and custom, they speak the language, don't they?
Yes, correct.
So, and the reason you can't do that is because the British system of slavery has beaten us down, taken away our language, our customs, our culture, and everything. I learned Swahili in County High School. It was mandated that every child who attended during my era learn Swahili. And like Brother David said earlier, the history of it, we had 3 students who passed Swahili at GC. Good. Right. And that is how I harness my Swahili, and I harnessed it good, and I do remember. I wrote this prayer because it was an assignment given to us by Sister Trico. And what I did, I wrote a prayer for my assignment. Today, I still use that prayer today for libation. Good. Now, as I offer libation to the ground, I'm inviting the ancestors to be in our presence. Now, listen carefully. This monument that you're looking at here was designed and built by the village council at the time, headed by Oscar Magarel. He was the chairman of the village council at the time when this monument was built. It was built in 1938, 100 years after the emancipation of slavery. If slavery was emancipation in 1838. 100 years later, Oscar Magarel, the village office was there. He was the chairman, and he and his councillors decided, well, look, to commemorate this event, we're going to build this monument. And that's what this monument stands for. When you're passing this monument, now you understand you have to pay some more respect to it, because it was built by our ancestors, who were the village fathers then. Great thought by those folks. And it was actually commemorated by the gate. This company, there's a point there we call the gate. That means we enter in the Bagam. This monument was placed there. And as the monument was, over time, erosion took place and the monument fell over. And the subsequent village councillors paid no attention to it. In 1969, a group of us, and Kofi, David, and Boyer, Gardner boys, a number of us come together and form what is now known as the 1st of August movement. That movement was formed in 1969. And what we did, we decided that this monument must be in its rightful place. So we removed the monument from where it had fallen down in gate, where it used to be. It had fallen down there. We brought it here. But for us to have done that, we had to consult the village council. And I remembered we petitioned the village council, and Kofi and I were the 2 representatives there. We went there and we told them what we had to do. And we knew it was a cost of money to transport and all of that. So we asked the council to subscribe to the cost for moving the monument. And I remember John Abrams was the chairman of the village council at that time, Senior John Abrams. And he said, boys, that's a very elaborate project you all taking on. Well, the South African people just do. They ain't got nothing more elaborate than when them poor ex-slave put my money together and buy this village. They ain't got nothing more elaborate than that. So removing this monument and bringing it and putting it in its rightful place was just a continuum of that effort which those slaves placed those days. So that's why this monument is here today. But before it was here, it was actually in that pathway. There was a pathway leading through the health center to the post office. You see, the post office used to be in the back there, and you had to enter to get to the post office from here, Company Road, between the market and what is known as the health. They had a series of health buildings. That's the three of them. They were cream in color, and they were the health nurses and the sanitary, and those people, they lived in those buildings. And then you had to pass there to get to the post office. So we had put this monument was placed right in the passageway there, so that people can genuflect and look and see what pay their respects whenever it is. And after a time, because there was going to be reconstruction of the village office and all the kind of stuff, we had to remove it from there, and that's why it's placed here. And today, this monument stands in its rightful place forever. From now on, we're going to this is going to outlive us and our next generation. So it's important that you know this history of the movement of the monument. And that is how this monument came in. It is sitting on an octagonal base. When you look at this base, you see it has 8 sides, octagonal, meaning that the lowest rung is octagonal, having 8 sides. That creates a real good platform for it to hold together. Good. So now I'm going to offer to you the libation. Since you're already standing, I don't have to say Sapadal, Kafadali, Semama. You're already standing. Good. Now, as I offer libation to the ground, I say, O Baba Watu. Wazen wa miru. Tusaidie kupigana kila vita. Tusaidie kundua kwa ujamaa na amani. Tena kiafrika yasituwe. Tusaidie. Tusaidie. Siku hizi za dhahabu. O Baba Watu. Asante sana. Whenever you offer libation, it always followed up with a chant. You must offer that chant to usher in those ancestors. And that chant, I say, Ireto! Oireto, oye! Ireto! Oireto, oye! Ireto, oye! Ireto, oye! Ireto, oye! Hold on. Kramanti. Ireto, oye! Ireto! Ireto, oye! Sante Sana. To continue with that short history.
Hello.
Good. To continue with that short history. After the monument was placed here, no, first I must tell you what is inscribed on that monument. Because what we did, we whitewashed it and removed the actual black indicators to tell you what is actually there. What is actually there, written there, is 1838 to 1938. That is what is written at the top there. NEM. Yeah.
Emancipation.
Correct. NEM. And it tells you 1938, meaning 100 years after emancipation, actual emancipation, this monument was erected. Now, at the bottom here, somewhere on there is inscribed all the names of the councillors. But they have inscribed it there, and you see Oscar McGarrel as the chairman of that village council written on it. So it's very important to keep this monument sacred, clean. Don't throw cigarette butts here. Don't spit here. And every time you pass here, you can offer genuflection because it's a tribute to the ancestors and the efforts they put in to actually bring us to where we are today. That consciousness is important for all, simply because it's a symbol of pride. It's a symbol of how African people behave when they are free, when they have freedom. That's how they behave. What they do, they pay tribute in ways to the ancestors. We have a number of artifacts and all that, which we build, we draw, and all in commemorating those ones before us who have done phenomenal things. And our ancestors from Buxton have done that. This village of Buxton that you're in didn't just drop from the sky and didn't come overnight. The behaviors that we exhibit, I mean, strong, dynamic. We're always in the forefront. There's a reason why Buxton is called the premier village. There are many, many reasons why, and I'm going to give you a few. Now, it's very important for you young people to understand this. This village means more than just the word Buxton. It means you have to speak of Buxton with a sense of pride, a sense of dignity, strength. From this village comes strength. Anytime people hear the word Buxton, they put with it an indication of violence. But it's not that violence. We're not a violent people. What we do, we stand up for our friggin' rights. And we will always do that. Buxton doesn't mean violence. Buxton means brilliance. We were the first village that had the most teachers teaching the rest of Guyana while they were asleep. This village here had 3 high schools, for those who don't know. We had County High School by a renowned elder, Brother Yussi Quina. We had the Smith's College by another elder, Vincent Ritchie. And we had the 3rd government high school up the front, we call Center School. That was a government, there was a three high schools this village had. Today we have none, or we have a symbol of what is looking like a high school there now. But we are greater than that. We are better than that. We produce scholars upon scholars all the time. The Fredericks that is mentioned in that battle song was a renowned lawyer, a dynamic fighter for rights. They sat down and they charted what is called all the village ordinances that we have and so on. They were chartered by those brilliant Buxtonians. They didn't go anywhere. As a matter of fact, because it was so well crafted and chartered, England, I'm talking to you now, the people, the Parliament of England itself, modeled their whole constitution and the pattern in which they fashion and design their their legislation based on what those brilliant brothers had developed in Buxton. It was fashioned from that. So when you say you're a Buxtonian, it goes beyond the little violence that people put with it. And we weren't violent. No. What we did was this. Buxton said, look, we bought this land. We didn't inherit it due to somebody handing it down. There was no pittance handed to us. Those slaves that bought Buxton saved up their pennies. And it is demonstrated in this play called Promised Land. It is so sad that today we can't even find young people to act in that play called Promised Land. We grew up as boys every year doing Promised Land in front of this monument on the stage there. That's where you would have gone to see Promised Land. That's all different schools, wherever we had functions. Promised Land was a hallmark because it told us how the villages were bought. It was written by a renowned elder called Brother Yussi Quina. He wrote that song called Promised Land. And for those of you who don't have a clue what Promised Land is looking like, I'm going to give you an idea. Brother Yussi said that in the old days in them village, we always had a village leader named Gangang. Gangang was the oldest person in the village, but she was the sharpest in mind. She was like an encyclopedia. Anything, any information, you can go to Gangang and talk, and then she would tell you and point you in a direction where you can't fail. That was Gangang. Also in the villages, they were farmers. All the workers in the village were farmers. They were dedicated farmers. That's why we put the monument at the head of company, so that whenever the farmers was going, they'll genuflect and pay their respect. Now, Brother Loy was one of them farmer there. And one day the man got back down. He said, you go get some, cut some plantain and banana and thing, and you go eat some yam and stuff, and I bring back to your family. So what the man decided to do, why is he in the farm there now? He said, you're going to do a prayer. So the man decided to go down on his knee and you pray. The man said, Father God, why don't you send? Why don't you give us, show us a pathway out of this desperate land, this desperate land where we're dying? He said, look, I will not want for them walk with Master no more, going around like a dog. I get to sail fish, I cook for we. And we want our independence. It so happened that when Brother Loy been Panini pray, Archibald was the man in charge of the plantation and all them slaves. Been pan horseback and you ride. And he see Brother Loy the Panini and pray. And he said to him, yes, hey boy, how you do that? You pray? You got so much time that you could pray. Uncle Loy said, watch. Me pray to sort of get land and all them things that we can plant our cassava by ourselves. And so on. Archibald said, all right, look, if you want that land, great orange and saw over there, go tell your people it can be theirs. I am broken and I need some money now to make myself right. And Uncle Loy go and he tell them a village. And Gangang said, come. And you bring them to bits so I get a pillow. And I suck the money, come in a wheelbarrow there, and you go to Archibald and I suck Buxton by. Hello. Brothers and sisters, there's a lot more, but I'm going to cut that short because of time. We don't have the time to go through all this rich history. And I'm going to cut it there for now. And I'm going to allow back to our chairman. Thank you. Asante Sana. Thank you very much.
Well, for those who hear Brother Mboya, those who know him or don't, that's Brother Mboya, and he's a history book. And that's the reason why I was saying, come closer so you can hear. We have a responsibility to this community, young and old alike. And sometimes I am so ashamed at what we have become. But we are stronger than this. We are a resilient people. Let us bring Buxton to where it was and further. That should be a promise tonight. A lot of things happening here tonight, and I'm happy about this. Today we had, for the first time, or one of those times, we had some visitors out of Africa. We had some kings and we had some chiefs that visited with us in Buxton, and it was such a moment for me. It was a real emotional moment for me because the first time in my lifetime I've experienced something like that.